Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Miah the King, and remember, no matter how nice the hand soap smells, never leave the restroom smelling your fingers. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam this morning called The King's Dilemma Chronicles, developed by Big Trouble and published by Big Trouble, so I'm sure we're in for a lot of, well, trouble. Ugh, that was a lame joke. Anyway, it was released not in early access and is selling for $15 American. Now, this game is labeled as a political simulation interactive fiction role-playing game. So, is it? Well, basically, in this game you take on the role of not the king, but instead the head of a council that serves the king. So, think of your position as the Hand from Game of Thrones. Your power is second only to the king. Anyway, the game has you making a bunch of decisions and watching the reactions and consequences of your decisions as you play the game. It's mostly dialogue, a lot of reading and risk-taking, no action, no high-speed chases, no character customization or anything like that. It's all simulation politics of medieval kingdoms. That's pretty much it. So as always, let's go into the good and the bad and make sure you stay tuned because there could always be something in here that you need to know before you can safely make a purchase. Okay? So, at first when I was looking at this game on Steam, I was kind of thinking it looked a little boring and dull. Okay, now on to the first positive. I know that last sentence didn't make much sense, but I wanted to say it anyway. So first off is the art style. I really like it. It's unique, it's very well done, and has its own, well, style, which it embraces 100%. There are plenty of still frames here, each one drawn to match the corresponding situation or setting perfectly, which helps you to visualize what it is that the game is talking about when you're reading the text. So I loved its art style. Next up is the music. The game doesn't really have any other sound effects or voice acting at all, but the music is really nice. It's actually perfect for this style of game, and I couldn't complain about it even if I wanted to because it's just so nice to listen to in the background while you're working away as the Hand of the King. Now, the gameplay. This is also going to be in the negatives, but for now, let's talk about the positives. It's really fun. I mean, it's a bit slower, sure, and it's a bit drawn out, but man, I was really enjoying myself. So, basically, you have stats to manage, like in most games. You know, you've got the general wealth, economy, politics, military power, blah, 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 you know, the usual stuff. And in this game, every time you make a decision, they either go up or down and increase or decrease the overall prosperity of the kingdom, I think. There are a bunch of different territories of lords who serve the king, so, you know, different houses. And you need to manage politics by agreeing or disagreeing with them for the betterment of the kingdom without letting relations get so bad that they hate you and try to assassinate you or something. Then you have side projects. You see, you can accumulate power, wealth, and prestige for your house and then use these to fund little projects that are permanent and help with the kingdom all in overall goal of trying to save the kingdom when the apocalypse comes, which was foretold by some soothsayers forever ago. So that might have been a bit much. Let me try to re-say that so it's less confusing. Basically, some prophecy came out forever ago saying that there was going to be a catastrophe that was going to destroy the kingdom in the future. And basically, as you gain these, you know, power, prestige, money, whatever, you can unlock these projects that are permanent throughout each reign of each king. And they're supposed to help you with this final battle. I don't know because I haven't gotten there yet. But they're kind of interesting and cool. They've got a lot of dialogue that you can read about that tells you what they do, what they're for, yada yada. So that's also really cool. There are far-reaching, in-depth storylines that you need to focus on and make the right decisions for. And then there are minor storylines that you need to focus on because they'll help benefit your overall goals over time. Each house has a different storyline and side storylines of things that they need to accomplish before the apocalypse. And get this, the starting house you get is based on a test the game gives you in the beginning. It's like a personality test. Once the game figures out what kind of person you are based on your choices, they give you a house to work as that most meets with you as a person, that matches with you as a person, you know? So whatever house you match with based on your test is the one that you play as, which I think is really cool and intuitive. But that's pretty much the gameplay. Make choices based on what you think is best, read the dialogue, and watch what happens to the kingdom. I mean, it's actually kind of cool, and it works fairly well. The next positive thing I want to talk about is the stability. The game never froze, broke, crashed, or had any kind of bugs or glitches that I found at all in my first 2 hours of playing. The next positive is the playtime and replayability. I mean, I've only been playing the game for a couple of hours, and I'm totally hooked. And from the looks of this game, it'll probably last me another 2 hours at least. So maybe 4 to 6 hour length game, which is fine for me, and maybe it's so short because I read so fast. But then you've got the replayability. See, each house has different goals, and you can get a different house every time you play. So you could play this game a few times at least, and get a different experience. So 4 to 6, try 8 to 12 hours. I hope I'm not overreaching with that vague estimate, and I hope I'm right. Either way, it's a nice touch. And finally, the last positive I got is that price tag. Considering the amount of work put into this, the level of detail, the amazing text work and grammar, plus the replayability and the unique outside-the-box style of creativity thinking process here, I think that price tag is perfect. Okay, so that's all I got to say that's nice about the game. Now we gotta go into the negatives. And as always, don't forget to support my channel. It's tiny. I need all the help I can get. So would you mind please taking 10 seconds out of your day to support my channel? Hit the like, subscribe, or leave a comment. Those help a lot, and every little bit helps. So please, do me a favor and support my channel. Now then, on to the negatives. So first up is the user interface. It was the first thing that really just blew me away, and not in a good way. It's so damn confusing, it makes almost no sense at all. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but there are like two different icons that basically mean the same thing, yet they look and act different, but the game treats them the same, so you're getting confused. You know what I mean? No? Well, neither do I, hence the confusion. Even after playing it for almost 2 hours and getting the general gist of the gameplay, I'm still super confused by this UI. It's needlessly complicated, and I hate it when games make something that should be simple and easy needlessly complicated simply because they don't know how else to do it or because they're afraid that people are going to look down on it for not being needlessly complicated. The next negative that really irritated me was the lack of tooltip bubbles and the awful tutorial. Now, the lack of tooltip bubbles is frustrating when you're trying to figure out what these things mean, and half the time the game gives you a help little thing that pops up and the other half of the time it doesn't. That's really stupid and frustrating. There's no harm in giving me tooltip bubbles so I know what that little icon means, okay? And then you've got the tutorial. I mean, it's there, and God bless it, it tries its best to teach you. But they use too many big words too many times to describe something that should be simple. Smash that together with a buttload of other complicated, confusing sentences, and you're still trying to remember what that word at the beginning meant. But even then, the tutorial only barely explains to you what to do. It's mostly focused on explaining what things are, rather than how to use them. Thanks for taking 3 pages telling me all about that little graph on the right. Now, can you tell me how to use it? No? Well, shit. Guess I'll figure it out myself. Wait, why do I need to burn all my farms and thus ruin my economy? Because if the prosperity gets too high, then the king will abdicate. Why? How does that make any sense at all? I don't understand how the prosperity being grand means the king must abdicate. That makes absolutely no sense. Now, maybe I just don't understand how it's supposed to work. All I know is that you gotta try to keep it balanced. And at this point, it's all a guessing game for me, because the tutorial, even though it's being too specific, is still being too vague on the important things. It's just frustrating. And thus, I'm bumbling around like an idiot, trying to figure out how to get the best stuff so I can, I don't know, progress forward a little bit, I think. I mean, am I not supposed to let the king abdicate or die? Because so far, the king has abdicated on me like 5 times and died on me once, and a new king just replaces him. So does it even matter? I don't know. The game didn't tell me. Basically, things aren't explained very well at all, and sometimes the game doesn't even explain something to you until after you do something. Like, I accidentally clicked on one of the banner lords during a vote, not knowing what would happen, and I ended up paying them money that I ended up needing later, and only then did the game explain what it was that I had done, which was bribe him to my way of thinking so he would vote with me. It's a big old cluster of confusion, and it'll take some time for you to figure out how to play. Be forewarned of that when you get into this. But other than those 2 main things, I didn't really have anything else negatively to say about the game. It's difficult and a bit unfair, but I think that's kind of the point. You never know what's going to happen until you make the decision, and at that point it's too late, just like if it were real. So honestly, even though it's hard and unfair, it's logical and makes sense. Overall, guys, I was having a blast with this game. I don't know what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't this. The intricate nature of ruling a kingdom while trying to keep the king alive and on his throne is thrilling. The managing of the kingdom both domestically and foreign is thrilling. The outcomes of the choices you make, the consequences of your actions, the alliances with the other houses, the politics here, it's all really well done. Like, it's a really good political simulator game akin to Game of Thrones. Sure, it's all text with a few small animations with the UI, but it's still a lot of fun. So if you ever want to know what it's like to be the hand in Game of Thrones, then this game is perfect for you. If you like political simulator games, then this game is perfect for you. If you don't mind a more casual, laid-back experience, then this game again is perfect for you. Overall, I'd highly recommend everybody go out and check this game and at least give it a try. I mean, for that price tag, you'd be getting a really well done, intriguing, engaging, finished game. Hell, I was so into the game that I actually forgot I was supposed to be doing a review. It has its downsides, sure, but overall the game was really fun and totally worth its asking price at the very least, and worth my time. I'm going to finish up this review now so I can go back to playing. In short, go check this game out. It's pretty good, and it's pretty affordable. So, that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure, and until then, I bid you all farewell.